Hi everyone, Donna here with Bookkeeping Made Simple, and I am making this video because of a couple of news articles I saw that really kind of deeply disturbed me. They have to do with the return to office mandate. I try to keep out of politics on these videos, but this one was really kind of egregious. And what it was about is the idea that work from home workers are not as productive as those in the office. And I'm going to delve into that and talk about what some of these CEOs are talking about that I strongly disagree with as someone who's worked from home for 20 years. Before I get started, of course, if you enjoy these videos or if they're thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the red notification bell on YouTube so you get notified when new videos drop. Okay. So the article I'm referencing is on, I'm specifically looking at one on Zero Hedge, but I've seen this in multiple news sources that the bigger CEOs, I want to really pull this up because I think it's important to really get this right. There is a push among the CEOs of large companies to get all of their employees back in the office. And while I can understand why, particularly for either the ones that are needed to mentor younger employees, or for older bosses that don't know how to manage remote teams, which I really think this is what it comes down to. This particular story really shocked me. And not in a good way. What it says, there's corporate execs that are wishing economic misery on all of us to force their employees back into the office. And I am mortified at this. And the reason for that is that I am a CEO, a very small company, but I'm still a CEO and I have remote teams. And they are very productive. I know because I actually do manage them. And I am baffled that anyone who claims to be running a business would try to exercise so much control over their workers that they would say they would rather have economic misery across the nation than allow these people to work from home. And this is kind of one of my pet things. This is probably the only political issue I will get into on this channel, because again, I don't want to alienate people just because they don't believe like I do. But and I honestly, I do welcome disagreement if it's respectful. But this was when they're calling their workers lazy. And they're saying, if you don't go back to the office, we want there to be economic misery to force you back to the office. Basically, what they're saying is they're the boss. Are they, though? They're starting to sound like feudal overlords. And you have to do what they say, or they want you to be absolutely miserable. I cannot wrap my mind around this. I go back to Richard Branson. He is one of the best bosses I've ever heard of. He's the person I model a lot of my leadership style after, which is if you take care of your employees, you don't have to worry about taking care of your clients. You take care of your employees and your employees will take care of your clients. If you have happy employees, they are going to go above and beyond. But if you're manipulating them like this, and if you are treating them like they're stupid, they're not going to. They're going to end up being just a suck on your P&L. You're going to end up with higher payroll costs, and that's enough by itself to put a business under. This is why the quiet quitting trend was such a big deal. It wasn't that anybody was quitting, it's that they just weren't going above and beyond. And I was baffled that this was even a problem, but this is evidently such a problem that CEOs are now specifically wishing for the economy to crash to force people back to the office. So let's take a look at the exact article. Barry Biffle, CEO of Frontier Airlines, this is almost enough to make me never fly Frontier again, said, we got lazy in COVID. I mean, seriously, people are still allowing people to work from home. All this silliness, right? What? Dude, have you ever tried to manage a company and a family and a home and a yard and ailing parents and perhaps even a partner that's not doing as well health-wise? Or do you just not care about any of that? Because there's more to life than work. And they keep talking about people are not as productive. I don't think that's really the case. I think people are doing their jobs and only their jobs. They're not working. They're actually stopping at the time at which they're supposed to stop. And they're talking about productivity challenges. He also, Sam Zell, who passed away late in May, he is a billionaire. He said, one of the biggest lies in the world is that people working from home are more productive than people working in the office. You have much less productivity if you're working from home in your pajamas with 3 little kids running around than if you're in an office. Again, I beg to differ. I'm going to cover that. And this is the one that I made steam come out of my ears, folks. I really, really did. This is Tim Gurner. I don't know what company he runs. Let me look. This was reported in the Sydney Morning Herald. He has real estate holdings in Queensland, Australia. Timothy Gurner. And he said, COVID had a massive effect on productivity. I agree. I just disagree on what that effect was. The problem that we've had is that people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. There's been a systematic change where the employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. It's a dynamic that has to change. And again, this does not sound like the kind of person I ever want to work for. Because really what he's saying is that his employees are lazy and stupid. That may be the case, because if I was working for him, I would not be working at full capacity. If I had a boss that treated me like that, I wouldn't want to go above and beyond for him. I'd be walking out of that interview. I mean, seriously, why would he think anybody wants to work for him like that? Really, what the employer-employee contract should be, it should be mutually beneficial. So I've worked from home for 20 years. I have typically had an office in my home where I could shut the door. I have worked from home with 2 little kids. I have worked from home with my partner, my life partner, in the next room, deathly sick. I have worked from hospital rooms. I have, and I offer this to in fact, all of the positions in my company are fully remote as long as you live in Utah. The only reason I even have the Utah requirement is for tax purposes. So I don't want to set up a bunch of payroll tax accounts in a bunch of different states with as small as my business is. I'm not there yet. But eventually, I would love to be able to employ people across most of the states without worrying about where they live or where they're working. And I really don't worry about where they're working, although I probably should. So long as they are keeping the confidence, so long as they're being secure in their communications. So in other words, if they're working from a hotel room, I want them to use a VPN, and I do enforce that. I want them to put a privacy screen on their laptop if they're working in public, or make sure but I talk to my employees quite a bit about why this is important. I really hate it when adults treat other adults like their children. I really hate it. And I don't care if that adult is 18 or if they're 95. It goes back to kind of my parenting philosophy, which is I didn't raise children, I raised adults. And that's kind of a critical distinction. So I hire people because they're good at their jobs. I hire people because I think they're going to be beneficial to my company. And I offer them compensation for their time and their energy that I think is going to be beneficial to them. If we don't have a win-win agreement, we don't have an agreement. So to see this comment, of course, it's from someone from Australia where they had the most restrictive COVID stuff. And he just comes across as hateful and mean to me, and definitely not the kind of person I want to have anything to do with. I don't care how much money he has. He's a vicious, evil, vindictive person. If I'm going off of this comment, at least this comment is vicious and vindictive. Your employees are the building blocks of your business. It is incumbent on you as an employer to make sure that they have the tools that they need to be happy and productive, especially for women. And I noticed I haven't seen a lot of women pushing for a return to the office. Maybe I've missed those. For women, being able to work from home has been the biggest perk you could possibly give them. Why? Because daycare is expensive. Do you have any idea how much of someone's check a daycare can eat? Because when their kids are in school and mom can sit down and get some work done, I don't care if she's working from 9 to 5. I don't care if she's working from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. I care that the work gets done and that I'm compensating my employees appropriately. That's what I am worried about as an employer. I am worried about, are my clients being taken care of? Is the security of our company being observed? And are my employees happy and productive? My employees are single moms. So it's important, in fact, it's critical that they are able to log out, and they clock out and they go take care of their family stuff. That's perfectly fine with me, as long as the work's getting done. And I have processes and procedures in place to make sure that the work's getting done, okay? So what I'm seeing here is a power trip. Guys, if you're an employer, understand that your employees should be in partnership with you to help take care of your customers. If your employees are miserable, if you're forcing them to go back to the office, if you're wishing economic misery on them, you deserve to lose your business. If you are working with them to make sure that they have the tools they need, because there's a lot that goes on, particularly more so for women. I'm not discounting men, but as a woman, this is what I know. I know that as a woman in my 50s, I have ailing parents. I have my life partner, my sweetheart, the love of my life, has health issues that I have to be here to help him with. My mother has health issues. Christopher has health issues, and he really is the love of my life. It is on me to keep the house clean and neat. It is on me to make sure, because of Chris's health problems, to make sure that the yard work is done, the housework is done. He does the cooking. I'm so blessed that way. But there's a lot that falls on me as a woman that doesn't typically fall on men. And again, I'm generalizing, and I am certainly not blaming men, but it's just kind of the way it is. It's just the way it is. You know, I'm not looking to necessarily change that, but the best thing you can do for your employees is to allow them to work from home if that's what works best for them. Because, especially for women, where we are typically the caretakers, not always, but typically the employee who's typically women are the caretakers. Again, not always. There's a lot of men out there that do the same thing, and they should be supported as well. But when you support your employees and you help them to be able to be there for their parents, their children, their aunts and uncles and cousins, for lacrosse games and soccer games, if you're just willing to allow them to leave to go to a soccer game in the middle of the workday, if you are encouraging them to leave to go to the gym in the middle of the workday, so long as the work gets done and the hours get put in, they will move heaven and earth for you. That's the fact. So all of these CEO, by the way, we had over the top productivity in 2020, 21, and 22. I mean, like, corporations were posting record profits because, again, it's more particularly the moms, the women, who were now able to say, I can take my 10-minute break and I can put a load of laundry in and I don't have to worry about it later. And on my lunch break, I can move that laundry from the washing machine to the dryer. And I can load the dishwasher. And I can eat healthy food from my own home that I cooked myself. There's so many benefits to working from home. Now, not everybody wants to work from home. Not everybody should work from home. This is something that that I've gone back and forth with several people on, typically men who are in sales. I'm an accountant. I want a quiet, private office where I can shut the door. I don't want to work in a bullpen. I've worked in a bullpen. It sucked. It was the worst experience I have had working. I would rather work for McDonald's than work, and I have, than work in a bullpen trying to do accounting type work. It's very difficult because it's noisy and it's distracting and there's a lot of interruptions. So I'm really concerned about this attitude coming from employers. If you work for an employer who has this attitude, my advice would be run. Get another job. Start your own business. Do something else, because this person does not even remotely have anything to do with your best interests at heart. If you have a boss that allows you to work from home, that works with you, partners with you, supports you, that shows you that you're a valuable part of the team. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people, especially on Reddit, they're like, oh, you're replaceable. It's true. I'm replaceable and I own the company. But we want to make sure that our employees are happy. That's the number one thing. And if they are able to work from home and they want to work from home, then I want them to work from home. It doesn't matter to me. If I have to have 2 employees to work to end up with 40 hours worth of work, that is actually more valuable to me than loading up. This is one of the things that I just hate. And I think this is why a lot of younger people are not going into accounting. They are very work-life balance to these to the younger generations is very important, which I think is healthy and appropriate. I don't think it's healthy or appropriate to demand that someone be sitting in a bullpen, butts in seats, for 8, 10, 12, 16 hours a day. And some of these bosses demand that. I think it's healthier. I think it's healthier for my employees and for my business to say, look, if you don't want to work 40 hours a week, that's fine. I can put you on 20 hours a week and hire 2 people. I'm not worried about how many people it takes to do the job. I'm worried about how many man hours it takes to do the job. And if I have happy people, they are more likely to be productive. I feel like I repeat myself a lot on these videos, but it's just so, well, if your employees are happy, if they feel like you care about them at all, again, they'll move heaven and earth. If you treat them like you are their overlord and they owe you because my employees owe me for the hours that I paid them for. What they owe me is to do the best job that they can in the hours that they work, and to let me know if there's something that comes up in their personal lives that they need support on. But what do they owe me? They owe me an honest hour's work for every hour that I pay them. That's what they owe me. They don't owe me anything beyond that. Now, I try to be a really good boss. I care about my employees. I do make note of, bad attitudes. I accepted a resignation from an employee a while back, and after reviewing her stuff, she wasn't doing a good job, and I was kind of glad to see her go. But I owe them the training. I owe them make sure that they have the tools that they need to do a good job. I owe them support. And if I make sure that they have those things, then they're going to go above and beyond for me. I don't have to be worried about whether or not they're productive. I do have to manage the work, though. And I really feel like this is the biggest problem these CEOs are having. They have managers that don't know how to manage anything other than butts and seats. And or they have commercial real estate holdings that is burning a hole in their P&L, and they have to justify that. I've seen this with a lot of professionals that they overcomplicate things to justify their degrees and to justify the fees that they're charging. So I am not on board with this movement to force people back into the office. I really kind of resent it, and I will never comply with it. I really do think that employees who are happy are more productive. And like I said, I was mortified when I read that. How dare this man say that? Honestly, how dare he wish economic misery on all of us because he can't run his business because he has commercial real estate holdings in Australia. That's psychopathic. Sorry. That is my take on this particular article. I will post the links in the description. If you have any comments, concerns, if you'd like me to cover a specific topic, I try not to cover too much on current events because, again, I am not about trying to force people to believe the way I do. I am about thoughtful and respectful dialogue, but nothing about this was thoughtful or respectful or grounded in data or the truth. And I think it's extremely harmful, not just to this person's employees, but to every business owner out there who's trying to do the right thing. So, and that's what I have to say about that. Tim Gurner, you're a psychopath. Sorry. There's something seriously wrong with you if you're wishing economic misery on all the rest of us because you can't do your job. That is it for today. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I am completely off track. Let me know. Just let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on returning to the office, on forced returning to the office, on hybrid work, on working from home. I honestly think it's a case-by-case thing, and I think that about a lot of political things that are they're trying to reduce them to bumper stickers, and it's not. They're not bumper sticker worthy problems. They're things that need to be resolved case by case. This is one of them. And I really resent a man telling me or any other woman how to do my job. That may come across wrong, but it is because as a woman, I am a caretaker. I have a lot on my plate. There's not enough hours in the day. And if I can take 5 minutes here and there throughout the day to get my work done for my home, then I'm not as stressed. And I am more willing to stay, to keep working longer because I can start the dishwasher. It sounds like a little thing. And yet I see bosses freak out because, oh my gosh, what if they do the laundry while they're on the clock? Well, who cares? Honestly, who cares? Just say, look, go ahead, do your laundry. Just clock out, would you? That's pretty easy. Oh, you need to do some housework during the day? Sure. Would you make sure you clock out while you do that? And if it's 10 minutes here or there, it's not a big deal. If it's 30 minutes and it's their paid lunch break, it's not a big deal. I literally clean my house in 5-minute spurts throughout the day. And some days are better than others. But I have found that if I'm able to do that, I'm more willing, even for myself, as the boss, I am more willing to stay and work later and get up earlier because I can leave during the day to go do things that are important to me besides work. And I really want to emphasize to these out of touch boomer billionaires. Michael Bloomberg, yeah, you too. I saw an article about Michael Bloomberg where he was all bent out of shape because the golf courses are full at 2 p.m. Well, who cares, dude? Nobody cares. I don't care if my employees go play golf at 2 p.m. I'm just going to say, make it the time. Sure, take a break. Just clock out while you do it. Unless you are actually doing work, which I know a lot of deals get made on the golf course. Obviously, I don't make those deals on the golf course because I don't play golf. But a lot of deals are made on the golf course. A lot of networking is done on the golf course. Michael Bloomberg, don't worry about the damn golf course. Stay in your own lane and check your privilege, would you? That is the most privileged, classist, nasty comment that I've seen. And I usually don't go down that rabbit hole because sometimes I feel the same way, that things are too crowded at inopportune times of the day. But the fact is, their money is just as good as yours. And you don't deserve to have the golf course to yourself just because you're golfing at 2 p.m. You don't know what any of these people are going through. Have a little compassion, Bloomberg. But I've never known you to do that. So I really feel like the true colors of some of these CEOs is starting to come out. So that is my rant. Again, it's not meant to be political, but it is meant, I am very much about kindness and compassion. And again, if you take care of your employees will take care of you. What goes around comes around, folks. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video before I really shove my foot all the way down my throat. So have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.